This is Breaking Down Security, and I am Brian Brake. Welcome back, listener. This is Brian, Mr. Betcher, and Miss Berlin for Breaking Down Security.
Hello.
Hi.
All right. We got it all. I didn't have to, work that out, put up, scorecards or anything. We're using Zoom again, because, it's $15. I'm getting the most I can out of it.
Yeah.
It's nice. It works really well.
It does.
I've had a lot of problems with Hangouts over the last week, with the CTF club and book club and everything. So we ended up moving over here for a lot of stuff. So, so what's been going on with you, Miss Berlin? You just got back from B-Sides Huntsville. You did something there, a little something, right?
Nashville. B-Sides Nashville.
Oh, God, dog it, man. I even wrote it down wrong in the notes. I even wrote it down wrong in the freaking notes.
Yes, I just got back from Nashville. It was pretty amazing.
Really? What was so amazing about it, he asked.
Well, I gave my first keynote.
Really?
Which was difficult.
Why was it difficult?
Just because we're nervous, and it was a tough topic. So, but I had a lot of really, really good feedback. People seemed to really enjoy it.
Did you rehearse?
I did.
How many times?
10.
10 times. Okay.
Yes.
How did you rehearse? Decent. Was it in front of people? Did you do it naked in front of a mirror or something? How does that work?
That's how I do all my practicing.
Right.
No.
Right.
No, the first few times, so I wrote down, I had like around 65, 70 slides, and I wrote down kind of what I wanted to say on all of them, and went through that.
Oh, okay.
Like 4 or 5 times.
Very nice.
And then I winged it a couple times, and then I gave it once at a local infosec meetup that's in Cleveland.
Okay.
Called Neo-ISF. And then the next time I gave it was in Nashville, and it went way better. It's probably the best job I've ever done speaking.
Very nice. So the prep time was definitely helpful for you.
Yeah, I've never practiced before.
Just kind of wing it?
I do, because I've always given myself anxiety attacks when I try and practice. Right. So I kind of got over it and made myself practice, because it was really important to me that I not mess it up.
And was it better?
Yes.
I mean, okay. Because I don't know, some people won't be able to live through all the practicing, and then they just bomb the real thing anyway.
It got better every time, I think.
Yeah.
I think if it wasn't getting better every time, I would have stopped.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah. But I had people in the audience cry, and a lot of people send me a lot of personal messages. If nobody's watched it, it's about mental health. So,
okay.
Yeah, it's specifically in infosec.
Very nice. Okay.
Wow. Is it online?
It is.
Okay. Well, let's get on that.
It'll be in the show notes. We'll definitely do that.
Sweet.
I had 2 goals for the talk. One was to not drop the F-bomb, because it's at a Christian college.
Oh, well.
And and to not cry. And I cried at the end. I tried really hard not to.
Yeah. Shit's contagious, man.
Yeah. One of my friends that's in mental health, I told him, like, he was looking over my talk and everything. And I told him that's what I was worried about. And he's like, well, one of the tricks is you have to, like, tighten your abs, like, real tight if you think you're going to cry. But that didn't work.
I only have one ab. So.
Right, like mine are down there somewhere.
Yeah, buried under my fat cap. So
right.
Yeah. So, well, that's cool. I'm glad you were able to do that. So you got a lot of positive feedback then, yeah.
Oh yeah, lots.
Very nice.
Lots and lots.
Very nice.
I guess it hit home with a lot of people.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'll definitely check that out.
Yeah, and then I took my son with me.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't his first information security con, but it was the one I think that he contributed. Like he
had a good time.
Yeah, he did the most at. Like they had a kid area with Minecraft and Quake and some other stuff.
Very cool.
Wow.
That he spent pretty much his whole time in. So
which one was this? Small, medium, or large?
large.
Younger. Oh, okay.
The 15-year-old. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. I'm glad he. It's good to get our kids involved with that stuff because shows them that what daddy and mommies and everybody's do. So grandpas and whatever's.
I just do computer. That's all they know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like bragging at school that I'm a hacker, but like none of them knows what it means anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Oh yeah, they do. It's but it's the Hollywood version, so
Right.
They think you jump out of planes
seriously.
and
I look at logs all day. It's not that fun.
Very nice. So, Mr. Betcher, you had an adventure too. You flooded your house or something, right?
No, I didn't flood it. I needed to replace a sink and then a valve on the shower. So I turned the water off, and in the course of turning it off, I busted the handle that you turn, and so there was just a 1/4 inch stem, right? A 1/4 inch copper stem sticking up. So I tried like 40 different tools to try and get that thing back open, right? And finally, it was funny because I had a giant pipe wrench about 2 feet long and a tiny stem that I was trying to turn with a pipe wrench, and finally got that sucker open. And I'm gonna have to redo it. So
is that your main shutoff valve?
No, it wasn't the city main, but I have one
That's
in
good.
between because my water goes like a mile to the city. So
Yeah. He lives out in the sticks. Like
when I say city, I mean like a town of 10,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Them's a big city. We got us a Walmart.
Easy there.
Finally.
Anyway. All right, so we're here to talk about infosec, not your water issues. You couldn't hack. If you need a plumber, there's several in the area. I'm sure you can get a hold of. So
there may be, yes, there may be.
Yeah. So
you only got to know one thing to be a plumber, though.
What's that?
Shit goes downhill. That's it.
Don't cross the pipes and shit goes downhill. Fantastic. All right. So I have a question I'd like to pose to the illustrious group here. I don't normally go into my office. And when I go into my office, the building that I'm in has a number of other companies in there. And I happen to be sitting out in the lobby area waiting for my office to open because I don't have a key. And some obviously, young 20-something, I would call them your stereotypical looking developers, was walking around and they were discussing a topic and it had to do with security, which made my ears perk up. And they were like, well, all we've got to do is, let me see, how do I say this? Okay. All we have to do is, change the API in such a way as to, I won't go any farther than that, but they were talking about API changes and stuff. And they're like, it's awful that our security team is making us do this. I mean, they act like we're not aware of what's going on. And one guy said, yeah, we don't have to be security experts. We just have to be security aware. To which I was like, well, I mean, I understand their point, but at what, my point is, do you need to be an expert in your little field or your background or your area, or is it just enough to be security aware?
Were they people that worked at your company?
No, they were not.
Okay.
Yeah. No. I would not have probably brought this up had it have been at my company.
Because I think it's different if you work at a security company.
Yeah. No, I would have probably dropped the hammer on them at the time. But no, these people worked at a fairly famous search engine. Not to mince words.
Well, here's the issue I have. The alleged security team at this company presumably told them that they needed to be in one way or another experts in security, and they were not too keen on that.
Well,
right? Is that what they said? I mean, they said we don't have to be experts.
yeah, the way they made it,
I guess it was implied.
The way they were talking, the security team had done some testing, and there was some changes that needed to be done, and maybe it was fairly contentious or something, and the devs were feeling that they were being put upon, that whatever was being done was they were aware that there was an issue, but maybe they weren't supposed to be the ones to fix it, or maybe they weren't fully aware how to fix it, and they were asking for knowledge. My whole question is, at what level should we expect our developers to embrace the ideas of security? Should they just be aware that security exists and security should happen? Or should they, okay, this guy is a Java developer, he should know to, do, memory cleanup, to do, sanitizing inputs on web apps. I mean, should they have that requisite knowledge and understand how to do that? Or should they just know, there are ways to do that, and that's somebody else's problem. That's OPP.
I think it should be their job. At almost every level, I think it should be their job. Because
they should know how to code in a secure manner.
Yeah.
Right? Sanitize your inputs and all that jazz. Job. Okay. So it is their job. And, obviously it's up to the security team to QA those security flaws for them. However, they're building something, right? Mm-hmm. They're building their baby, and they're not building it right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It has problems. It's sick. It's decrepit. It's missing a leg. I know they have a vested interest in the survival of whatever application they're building. A developer doesn't want his code to be shit.
Yeah. And that was the other point. They know that they're trying to put out at least a quality product, but for them, their idea of quality is to make sure it works and it compiles. The security stuff is the nice to haves, when in fact for us security is the need to have, and it's not complete until it's done.
It working is the nice to have.
Yeah, it working. Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah. There has to be that balance, and given enough time, yes, they can make sure it's coded securely and whatever.
Yeah.
I think that they need to be aware, or management does, that it takes time to code securely, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, if you're given 3 days to spit out a whole bunch of code, quality suffers.
Yeah.
Depending on how much time you have. So security is part of quality, right?
Mm-hmm. So
when you first had brought this up, I wasn't thinking developers only. I was thinking like end users. Do end users have the responsibility to be security knowledgeable as opposed to just security aware?
Okay, well, let's ask that question too. You said you thought it was just the end users. Should they be security experts or security aware? At what point do we transition from the security expert to the security aware? I mean, is management needing to be security experts or security aware? Do developers need to be security experts or security aware? I would assume security experts need to be security experts, or infosec people or IT need to be fairly, expert or aware. Are there levels of awareness up to what would be considered expert?
I think in different areas. So, a network admin should be pretty good at network security.
Mm-hmm.
A sysadmin should be good at Windows or Linux security.
An email opener should be good at email opening security.
Right. Yeah.
Oh my God. Did you just classify your users as just email openers? Is that all they do?
I mean, it just depends on your job function.
Okay. So like an HR person shouldn't just be randomly opening resumes and enabling macros.
Right.
They should definitely be aware, and they should have the knowledge of, what security means in the realm of email today. Okay. So if a PDF if you get a PDF and you double click it and it opens Word, and then you have to enable macros in that Word, something's weird about that. That should be like red flags should be like spewing out of your eyeballs, right? At that point. So in that sense, yeah, in their realm, in what they're experts at, they should know the security of what they're experts at. Okay. And if they see things like that, they should be aware of, this isn't right here.
Yeah.
Something's weird.
Okay. So
about this.
You said something's not right. So when we had our Sec 542 class, the first thing that we learned from Mr. Kevin Johnson was learn what is normal. And so what is normal is I click on a PDF and it should open in Adobe and not in Word and not enable macros. At what point are the security experts failing the security aware people by... I assume the security expert people are supposed to be educating the people who are supposed to be just security aware to get them to a specific level of awareness. So
yes.
if the email clicker, as you so eloquently put that person, is still doing that, is that a failure of the expert, which makes the security expert not necessarily an expert because he's failed at his job?
It may not necessarily make him not an expert, but yes, failing at job, I would say, yeah, I mean, more needs to be done there with quote unquote user awareness, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. But I mean, it all depends on what tools the security team's given, right? It's situational. If management is just doing the whole checkbox security thing, his hands may be tied, or hers, from teaching or making it known to everyone that these types of things could happen, or to look for the abnormal stuff.
Yeah. So, okay. So that brings up an interesting question. So we mentioned that people who are security aware could be in the management realm, and the security experts are trying to impress upon them that what we're trying to do is increase the awareness. But management doesn't want to necessarily invest in the tools that make people more aware. So there's a disconnect there in this case.
Right.
Okay. So that goes to more leadership, which is interesting because we actually started a leadership channel on Slack because our good friend Phil Byer wanted a Slack channel for that. So what can we do as security experts, quote unquote, to help the people who are our managers understand, that people in our company are failing at security? Do we need metrics? I mean, is that a metric based thing? I mean, how do we solve some of the issues that we're having with security awareness versus our experts?
It's really fun to show them how they're failing.
Red teaming, yes.
So we did that. By live phishing users in front of our executives.
You did it in front of the executives.
Having them watch the passwords and usernames and passwords pop up on the screen.
Wow. So you had a wall of sheep and everything.
Yeah. I mean, not publicly, but like in our little...
Yeah.
They like came to our office and I showed them on my monitor. But
seeing is believing.
Yeah, but you can say, okay, I just captured 300 credentials. All of those people have access to medical records.
Nice. So, okay, here's a question. You've shown these people, and you said seeing is believing. How hard was it to get this thing started in the first place?
Not very, but I think I was lucky because we had a CIO that used to be a CISO, so he came from kind of the background of being tech knowledgeable.
Right.
So.
Because my point is that there are some companies out there that don't like internal red teaming because of the trust issue, because we should be trusting our own employees to do the right thing, and yet you want to deceive people and use deception to basically out these people that they don't know what they're doing.
It's either us or them. Either us or them, meaning the whatever attackers out there.
True.
It's hard to make that point though sometimes.
Yeah. So let's get back to our developers. So they basically they need to be, and I brought this analogy up. Well, it's not an analogy, but it's historical fact. So back in the days of Mark Twain, there used to be riverboat drivers or barge drivers that knew only certain parts of the river because things changed so often they couldn't keep a map in their head of the whole thing. So in this case, as security experts, do we need to know more of the river, as so to speak, than the developers, or should we trust the developers to know their little area of the river, and then we concentrate on what's going on afterwards? In the SDLCs and in developing DevOps and all that, we try to get in front of the devs as much as possible, but if we're to trust them and expect them to be security aware that they need to fix these items, how can we, at what point should we let them have their leash before they, to continue their job?
Well, I think that there's fundamental training that developers need to go through in the realm of security. And I don't think it's that difficult of a course or workload for them. I mean, it all has to do with inputs and outputs, right?
Mm-hmm.
To the application. If it's static, there's really not that big of a security issue, but just be aware that inputs and outputs are sensitive to, having security flaws. And there are certain techniques for those inputs and outputs that are needed, that are industry standards that are relatively secure. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so by teaching those fundamental things, they can be fairly confident in getting it right. And then on the back end, you test those things. And if you happen to find flaws in the application, hopefully before it gets released with automated tools or whatnot, then I think it's incumbent upon you to approach the developer who pushed out that particular line of code or whatnot and rehash and see where they went wrong, right? And sort of retrain.
Yeah. So, Miss Amanda, do you have developers?
No.
Have you worked with developers?
Not really. Like we have some developers where I work now, but everywhere else that I've been at has just purchased software. We haven't never really worked with any like full-time developers. I mean, we knew people that could create one-off little tiny things, but not anything that would run in production.
Yeah. My question was, do you, and Mr. Betcher and I have worked at places with developers. We expect them to, make code that works, but we don't give them tools often enough, I think, to actually do testing of their own. I remember when we were working at our one place together, and we gave some of the developers Burp Suite so that they could look for vulnerabilities having to do with cross-site scripting or something. We gave them a couple of test cases, and you could just see their face light up because it was like, oh my God, this tool is awesome. We should be able to use this a lot. So we've enabled them, not through training, but through the gift of giving, in this case, a free application, which it was just free Burp Suite. It wasn't like we had licenses or anything. But by doing so, we've enhanced them and made them more aware of their own code. So in that case, we didn't really teach them anything. They kind of taught themselves. We gave them a little bit of a nudge, but you can make people more than just security aware by just simply communicating in that case. And it wasn't just education. So I think that's a good point. Mr. Betcher?
That is a very good point. Yes. Open communication, basically showing them, hey, look, this is pretty cool. Check this out. Right. And then, yeah, I remember that the eyes light up and they're like, wow, let me go. Like they wanted to go play with it a little bit.
They did.
Right.
So are they not taught that kind of stuff? I mean, if they went to school for that, I mean, I think it's covered now, right? It might not have been covered previously.
I don't
like in courses.
Well, developer, when you're taught how to code, it's like, here's how we build things, not here's how we inspect things or here's how we break things, right? Once it works, you're good, right? And I know every developer's aware that, oh, what if I just type a bunch of gibberish, see what happens, and something just completely breaks, and they're like, yeah, maybe I should limit the size of this field or something like that. They know these things, but it's not that they particularly are interested in that granular of detail, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and that's I mean, I think a lot of the problem with us getting people educated is just a lack of communication. It's like we don't want to step outside of our own realm because we're afraid of, I don't know, we're afraid of getting laughed at or getting told to go away. I mean, it just seems like there is a communications issue, and that's where we get a lot of the users can't be taught or anything. If we'd go to people instead of throwing them flash file, to be looked at once a year, I think we would have more of a reaction, and I think our education would of our awareness levels of our email clickers would be enhanced, I believe.
Instead of just being in your office and not talking to anybody.
I have been told by previous employers that I have seemed somewhat unapproachable because my cube was in fact dark because I stood up on the desk and turned the light off above it.
I do the same thing. It's all right.
Yeah.
They're just intimidated by your ab.
Wow. God, man. That's hurtful.
That's great.
Gods. All right. Well, wow. Okay, so we're gonna step away from that comment. So yeah, I'd love to hear some more some more discussion about that in our Slack. So you can join us. I'll tell you where you can get on our Slack at the end of the podcast. Speaking of the Slack, we had a fantastic conversation about the policies podcast that we had after the show. I mean, we had like hour or two of just discussion back and forth with several people about the show. We started talking about the differences between what standards are and policies and procedures, and where those fit, and people were posting pictures of pyramids, basically, that standards create policies which create procedures. And I asked the question about where do so best practices actually come before everything else, because best practices, in my opinion, become the standard that everyone has to go to, because infosec harped on good passwords for years, and then all of a sudden the PCI standard has all of section 8 basically as password complexity or password history and difficulty and all that. And then you have to make policies based on that and procedures based on the policy. It was very interesting conversation. I actually have some. I'm not going to put screen captures up of it, but yeah, we had a great discussion about that. I noticed that Mr. Betcher didn't get involved with that one, but that's cool. Did a little bitter from the ab comment. Anyway,
I read the 2 chapters in the book though.
Oh yeah, well that kind of added on to it, with the policies bit. So yeah, that was good. So let me see. We're going to make this one a little short this week. So one of the things that just came out on Twitter that I saw, not a news article, but there's a GitHub out there with public pen test reports, which I was looking through some of them before the show here. There's some fairly cool stuff in there. There's the Verizon Stratfor report that Verizon did for Stratfor, including timeline information. They didn't bother to redact any of it about who actually did it, who reviewed the document or anything. So there's actual names in there. There's timelines about how everything started going down. Talking about December 6, 2011. They became aware.
And Stratfor was okay with this, or
I don't know.
What's going on?
They've been up on his GitHub for 8 months.
And what led them to decide to do that?
I don't know. This Julio Cesar Fort, information security.
Are you sure this
engineer.
isn't WikiLeaks instead of government documents? It's like pen test. It's WikiLeaks for the pen test companies.
I guess so. There's quite a few on there. This guy named Julio works for AdBlaze infosec. Supposedly passed the Voight-Kampf test a few years ago, which that's nice of it. But yeah, there's several on here, several companies. There's IOActive, there's Leviathan, Mod Asano, Trail of Bits, Secure Ideas, Vericode. Verizon's on there. Verizon's the one that's got the forensic report in there from Stratfor, which was pretty cool. I'm not sure how he got a hold of all of these, but they all got added to this GitHub about 8 months ago. So just showed up on Twitter. So I just thought that was kind of interesting. ISEC Partners is also in there, which is now NCC Group. So that shows you how old some of these are. NCC Group's been NCC Group for a bit. So yeah, so you can go and check that out.
How good is their reporting?
Well, I haven't read all of them. Some of them are pretty good. That Verizon one was pretty good. It's got a nice timeline in it. I haven't looked at all the pictures. Some of them are probably better than others, and I would imagine that would be like a kind of a you can look at the quality of the report maybe when you're looking for a pen test group and go, okay, well, this is what we kind of should expect from a pen test company if we employ these folks. So that might be a nice way of looking at that. If you notice that one company is not giving you what you want, and you find another one that may have a better format, you may want to go with that company.
Or you are already with that company and you have a crappy report and you look at that one and go, what the hell are y'all doing?
What did I pay for?
Did I get the C team on this report? What's going on?
They don't have C teams. They just have more junior personnel.
Uh-huh.
Wow, that hurts. All right, so let's adjourn for this week. We're going to make this one a little short because our guest, he got sick, so he can't make it this week. We're hoping he will be here next week, but I won't mention who he is, or she could be a she as well. Uh-huh. Wow.
Yeah, we all know.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll try to do better on that next week. So he'll be on, and we'll have a good discussion about things and stuff. So, Mr. Betcher, talk about B-Sides Austin. Are you going to be at it?
I will be there. If any
Really?
listeners are there, come talk to me. Right? Love having good conversation. Is it the 4th and 5th? I don't know. Sometime around there.
That sounds about right. The first week in May is going to be very busy for me and for everybody, apparently. So,
June's busy for me. Holy cow.
June? Why June?
Yeah, I have 3 conferences to go to.
Wow. Okay. So
I don't know if I'm going to all 3. I'm at least going to 2. I'm speaking at 2 of them.
Whoa, fancy.
614con, which is like, it's kind of like Sky Talks where nothing's recorded.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, so you can talk about good stuff, and that's in Columbus. And then B-Sides Cleveland.
Man, Ohio's just a hotbed. It's like Atlanta, Columbus.
I don't know that I would call it that.
Cleveland, all of the Ohio area there. And
it's hard. We don't have a very active infosec group of people, which disappoints me sometimes. But
yeah, why not? Is it just because they're all busy being consultants or something?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure.
Okay. All right. So B-Sides is like the first week in May. Do you know? Do you have any information, Mr. Betcher, about them being sold out? Or there's still tickets available?
Last time I checked, there were tickets available.
Okay.
I don't know how many people are going to be there, but I think it's sold out the last couple of years. Like,
Nice.
you could not.
Nice.
Yeah. So they turn people away, fire codes and junk.
Oh,
right?
yeah. I heard about that last year. Yeah. Okay. I got hit up on Twitter. Actually, I heard about it on Twitter. There's a new B-Sides that's going to be happening in July, 22 July. It's B-Sides Springfield, Missouri. So if you, it's got a soft place in my heart because I'm from that area. My mom and my family actually live outside of Springfield there. And I went to high school in a little town called Buffalo. 3,000 people. I got you beat, Mr. Betcher.
Mm-hmm.
But they are looking to sell some tickets. I'll have a link in our show notes to the Eventbrite where you can buy the tickets. Supposedly they have 60 tickets, and I'm hoping that they sell out. I'd love to go, but I'm going to be somewhere in July, so I can't go. So if you're interested in going to that and are in the Little Rock or Tulsa or Oklahoma City areas, or you're in Columbia or Kansas City's only a couple hours away, you run on down to Springfield. They got some great stuff going on there. So, and it's pretty awesome. They're trying to build out their infosec community, which I was very happy to hear that we actually have something going on there in the Springfield area. So, links in the show notes. So Jay Beale, Jay Beale's given himself some. He's given out some training at BlackHat this year. So there's a link in the show notes to that as well. It's 22nd, 23rd July, 24th, 25th July at BlackHat 2017. So he's going to be giving that class aikido on the command line. So you're going to learn about hardening, containment, containers, all kinds of good stuff about securing your Linux. So a lot of great stuff coming from Jay Beale there. So you can sign up at the BlackHat link in our show notes. So all right, well. That was it. I guess we just need to find out where everybody can be contacted at. So, Miss Berlin, how about you?
At InfoSyster, INFOSYSTIR on everything.
Cool. All right. Mr. Betcher, how about you?
I'll be at B-Sides Austin, so hit me up there.
Okay.
And you can also reach me on Twitter at BetcherPwned.
Right on. I actually told one of my friends I knew from high school who lives in the Austin area to get herself a ticket and get her butt over there to B-Sides. She's looking to get in the infosec community, and so
come talk to me.
Yeah, so you heard that, Patty? Hook that up. talk to Matt. Talk to Mr. Betcher. Talk to Miss Poggi Manis and all of them. So you can get a hold of me on Twitter at Brian Brake, BRYAN BRAKE. BrakeSec podcast is at BrakeSec, BRAKESEC. We have a Slack channel. I mentioned that earlier a little bit, a lot. You can join us. We have about 315 people now in the general. 324 in the general tab. Holy cow, we blew up again. HTTPS BrakeSec.signup.team. We have a very active community. I mean, we're routinely hitting our 10,000 message limit on the reg. We have so many things going on. We have a CTF club, which sadly is supposed to be going on right now. I'm in the hangout with the gentleman that's in there right now. There's another guy joined him. Okay, cool. David and John are in there right now. They're trying to go through the Natas war game, which we're working on. It's kind of kicking our butt. So we're looking for people who know time-based blind SQL injection. It's very difficult, but level 16 and 17 are kind of whooping our butts. We got Chris, who's running the Bandit War game. So if you've never done war games before and you want to do the Bandit War game, we got Chris and Cameron and James and all them who are over there working on that one. We have a book club. Somebody who wrote a book is running that book club. Do you know her, Miss Berlin? Do you know this person?
I've heard of her.
Yeah. Her co-author's a bit of a punk. But, yeah. No, so we're doing the Defensive Security Handbook, which apparently is doing quite well for Miss Amanda and Mr. Brothers.
I'm extremely happy with our sales so far.
Yeah.
So
I saw some bootleg copies out there, though. I saw some
Right.
Yeah.
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 We should.
That was funny. I saw the picture of that guy who drew the porcupine and faking the.
Yeah, that's Aaron. He's amazing.
Yeah. So we're doing a book club every Sunday. I ran last Sundays because I didn't know that Miss Amanda wasn't going to make it back. But we talk about a chapter in each book, so you can buy the book, or you can just come and talk about the stuff that we were talking about. We talked about incident response. We talked about some business continuity, so that's all good. You don't necessarily have to have the book. We can just have discussion.
I mean, I prefer you to have the book.
Yeah,
You
obviously.
don't have to, but I prefer it.
Obviously. So we have a general tab. We have a job board, which if you are looking for a job or have a job that you want to talk about, you can post that on our job board. We just opened the leadership board because our friend Mr. Phil Byer wanted to talk about some work or criticism he was working on. He's working for a talk for something at LasCon. We've got Tyler Hudak over at the malware channel and people talking about, malware that's going on and, detections and figuring out how to make those things happen. We got a pen test when we have our Python class, which is going really well. Matt, who you've heard on our show before, is doing a 6-week course for us. So it's still not too late to join us if you want to do that. We are recording those with the Zoom here that I'm using right now. And so you can get caught up fairly quickly. There's some homework, but it's great. So, you can come in and join us and, talk and, catch up. And it's really nice. So, BrakeSec.signup.team. So, you can listen to the podcast on iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio. We're in the iTunes store and Google Play. So if you want to, listen, there's really no place you can't do that. SoundCloud, And so that was it for the week. If you have any comments or anything, just let us know. Hit us up on any of the 100 options with which you can communicate. So that was it for Breaking Down Security this week. Have a great week, and we will talk to you again real soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
And we're done. Okay.
All right.
I actually thought that was really good.
Yeah.
That was not bad.
Yeah, I didn't know where we were going to head with the dev thing, and I was afraid it was going to last you were like, oh yeah, dev should be smart.
The end.
And scene. Oh, yeah. And we're done here. Great. Yeah, not even worth the time.
All right, guys, I better get.
Okay.
Kids are stomping around hungry, so.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
I'm the official ramen cooker.
Oh, I love ramen.
Daddy special on the menu. Come on, let's go.
Okay. Yeah, get with Goff and see if he can come on Friday or Saturday or something, and we'll make it happen. So, unless Miss Amanda can you do Friday or Saturday? Sunday?
Let me look. Hold on.
Because technically, this is last week's show.
I can't do
any of them.
Can't do Thursday.
Okay.
I can do Friday or Saturday.
Okay, so see if he can pull Friday or Saturday. If he's sick, just have him prop him up, and we'll just start the thing. Okay.
We'll just put a photograph of him there.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like we're going to put this video out. It's all audio anyway, so.
I can do his voice. Well, you gotta, get the malware.
This is going to go post-credits.
I can play golf.
Okay. Yeah, I totally. Yeah, that's going on the post-credits. All right. Go make some ramen, sir. Miss Berlin, great. Glad you made it home okay.
Yes. Did you see my ride?
What?
Did you see my ride that I got to ride to Nashville in?
No, I didn't see your hoopty. I mean, I didn't see your.
I got a 2017 Mustang.
Oh, nice.
What? Yes. Nice. They upgraded me for free.
Do you want insurance, ma'am? Oh, yeah, I'm going to drive it. All right. It was stolen. So, good night.
Later,
everybody.
Good night.